Hey, what's up? It's Tony from Street Church, and welcome to the Inside Job Podcast. Hey, this is our third and final week of a series that we have called Lessons from a Cross. So I think it's the pivotal week. I think it's the key week, the most important week that we need to swallow, right? We all have people in our lives that are in trouble, that are going through it, that are in the middle of their own messes, that we would love to, help and make an impact and be a source of light in. And one of the major things that is a hurdle from us wanting to do that and being able to is when we're also swimming in our own puddles of mud, right? When we also find ourselves in the middle of a mess, when we are suffering, when trouble comes, right? And what happens is not all of the time, but sometimes what happens is if you have trouble in your life and it prevents you from wanting to be a source of light in somebody else's life, it does so because we can easily, in the midst of our trouble, begin to think maybe God doesn't know what he is doing. Right? Maybe he's not up to something good. Maybe he can't make something good out of this. Why would he allow this to happen, right? And when that happens, it's the same thing that happened it's the same thing that happened in the garden, right? When, Eve ate the forbidden fruit, right? Right before that, there was Satan, and, he's basically saying, hey, listen, you're not going to die. You are not going to die. Go ahead and eat it. Nothing's going to happen to you. Don't believe God, right? And when we begin to think thoughts like that, in the middle of our own trouble, like maybe God doesn't know what he's doing. Why would he allow this, right? What happens is that a seed of mistrust is sown into our lives. And anything that is sown into our lives gets planted, right? And it's dangerous, and it could metastasize and fester. And what we need to do is we need to uproot that. And because, really what Satan did to Eve is the same thing that we do when we think those, thoughts. It's an indirect attack on the goodness and on the character of God, right? And we need to uproot that sucker immediately if we want to have any chance of being salt and light in the lives of other people who are going through it, who are suffering. So one of the best examples of this is on the cross, is what Jesus said. Actually, it's the last thing that he said in Luke chapter 23, right? So he's hanging on the cross. He's just about to die. And he lifts up his eyes and he says, Father, into your hands I commit my spirit, right? Into your hands I commit my spirit. So, when the shadow of the cross of Christ, when it falls on our lives, it can really be an impediment to us being able to make an impact in the lives of other people who are hurting. And that shadow of the cross of Christ, right, it falls on our lives in many ways. Some, it's depression. Others, it's money issues, it's health issues, it's relational family issues, it's physical issues, all sorts of issues. It falls on our lives. And we're so inclined to not trust God when that happens. And the remedy is when we are able to say, in the midst of that happening, Father, into your hands I commit my spirit. Now, that does not mean that everything is going to get better, that everything is going to turn out as you want it to. It doesn't mean that you're not still going to be perplexed and confused and hurt. It doesn't mean everything is going to be a-okay. What it means is this: in my not so good situation, I trust in the goodness of God. And therefore, I can say, Father, into your hands, I commit my spirit. And that is the bridge, I believe, the most important bridge that will enable us in the middle of our own train wreck situation to be a source of salt and light and hope in the middle of other people's train wreck situations and make a powerful impact on their lives. Father, into your hands I commit my spirit. In the middle of my mess, I trust you. One for the road. In the middle of our not so good situations, we can always trust in the goodness of God. In the middle of our not so good situations, we can always trust in the goodness of God, and therefore say, Father, into your hands I commit my spirit. Amen. Amen. Hey, listen, we got something really, really good brewing for you guys, a new 3-week series. So until then, have a great week. I'll see you then. Bye.